With Irish Joe. It's a poison. That doesn't help the stress level. No, don't do it. Get a grip. This stupid video I just showed you. I almost stroked out and died over it. You're watching a different show. You donkey. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. Happy holiday week. If anybody's off work already and you got a free week here for the holiday, I genuinely appreciate everybody being here, starting your week, starting your morning here with Always Irish. Not a good weekend. Not a good weekend. I struggled through this. It was not enjoyable. It was very miserable. It was like knowing watching something is going to make you miserable, but feeling like you have to watch it because it's like your thing, but you know it's going to make you go crazy is a very unique experience. It's a very unique experience. Like you knew you were going to be miserable. You knew watching these games was going to make you mad. Yet here I was all weekend doing it, getting more mad. Each game that went by, I got more mad. It was a rough weekend. And I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me to come in here and talk tough and be like, whatever, I'm fine. Like, no big deal. What? No, it was hard. It was hard. And it was not enjoyable. I didn't enjoy it. It was bitter. It was painful. I realized there's Hurricane fans in here now. There's an Alabama guy in here now. And they want to tune in to see me be upset and whatever. I guess you came to the right place. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I guess you came to the right place. This was tough on a bunch of fronts, and I'm mad at a lot of different people, including Notre Dame, first and foremost. I do want to say that. Like, I'm mad about all this, and I'm mad in a lot of different areas. You got to start with Notre Dame. If you didn't lose those two games, none of this would be happening. Nobody would be, the NFL wouldn't have an open runway to steal your coach. You would be able to be in the playoff. Yeah, listen, that's on Notre Dame. That's on Notre Dame. Notre Dame not being prepared to start the season is why we're in all these problems. The ACC and the way they do things, yeah, that happened because you allowed it to happen. The committee, you losing enough games, they could play games with you and boot you out and justify it. That's your problem. The TV networks, they were all about... Tell me if I'm crazy for this. Good morning. I see a lot of you guys want to join. I'll bounce you in. Tell me if I'm imagining this. Tell me if I'm imagining this. When they started being like, oh, Notre Dame's ranked ahead of Miami and Notre Dame's playing way better. And like, look at overall. Yeah, they lost, but on the last play, whatever, And it was like, you know, Notre Dame's justified to be ahead of Miami in the rankings. And the ESPN people and all the TV people kind of went with that. We kind of get it. Yeah, whatever. Like, whatever. Then, out of nowhere, the narrative suddenly flipped. And all of those same people at the desk were like, I don't know, man, head to head, you got to get Miami ahead of Notre Dame, whatever. So then that's the narrative. They end up putting Notre Dame in and Notre Dame's out. And then now that this has happened, now it's kind of gone back where they're like, yeah, I don't know, man. Notre Dame would have been cool to see them in the playoff. Like, are you gaslighting me on purpose? Am I dreaming, or was that not the narrative? It was like, we get why Notre Dame's ahead of them. Then it was like, you got to switch them because head-to-head. Now that Notre Dame's out, you have these announcers during the games like, I don't know, would have been nice to see Notre Dame here. Like, I'm not in a good place. And I'm not going to tell you guys, I'm not going to put on an act like I'm totally fine or whatever. I'm not. This was a brutal, brutal weekend for Notre Dame. And that's where I'm at. I would like to know what you guys think about any of these round one games, what you think about Marcus Freeman and the rumors about the NFL. And the longer it goes on, are you getting more antsy about that, just wanting closure? I still think he's going to be at Notre Dame, but I want closure on that so we could all move forward. I would love to know what you guys think about all this stuff. So what was your reaction if you watched the games or you didn't or whatever? And then what do you think about the Marcus Freeman stuff? I'm in a bad spot. So welcome in. We're going to try and have fun here. I want to hear what you guys think. And then we'll get on to our holiday shopping or whatever you're going to do. It's just a brutal, tough, it's a tough dynamic, man. I'm struggling and I'm not going to act like I'm not. Those of you on Patreon, you saw where I'm at. I kind of snapped a little bit and did it like an emotional video yesterday. I just hit a breaking point and I snapped and I recorded something pretty intense over on the Patreon. If you want to check it out, link in the description, patreon.com/alwaysirish. I just hit a breaking point with it all and I laid it all out there. Yeah, Suds. RAD was talking about permanent damage. I got permanent emotional damage. Don't lose two games. The Browns need Freeman to return home to Ohio. Yeah. Telling you what, if there's any way to change the trajectory of how you're perceived in the sport of football, go to the Giants and go to the Browns. It's just like, God, Freeman, I love you, buddy. Everybody thinks you're at the top of the sport. If you want to ruin it all, go to the Giants or go to the Browns. BVG, you're not wrong. Nothing works. When you're in the mind frame I'm at, nothing works. You kidding me? You ain't kidding. You're not kidding. Nothing works. Not even a perk. Nothing. So, yeah, but Freeman, you want to end that momentum? Everybody thinks you're great. Go to the Giants and go to the Browns. That'll end everybody thinking you're the hot shot right away. As always, you can find the program Golden Blue Chew. John needs some of those sketchy gas station. Bro, have you ever looked in there? Like when you're checking out the gas station and then look at that little glass case? Dude, I am scared of what would happen. It's intimidating. Jeez. It's like only this show can take that turn at 9 a.m. right before Christmas. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it, subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. Notifications on. You don't miss nothing. Twitter, search bar Always Irish or at Always Irish Inc. Twitter is a wasteland. Don't waste your time. It's not worth it. You'll never get any of these people that wake up every morning with an axe to grind against Notre Dame. You're never going to get them to change course. They're never going to understand logic. What frustrates me is now there are some justified critiques of Notre Dame in all this. Justified. But there are people taking liberties with some truths, misconstruing things, and it's all okay. No one cares. It's pile on Notre Dame for the stuff that's legitimate, the stuff that's not legitimate. It doesn't matter. Pile on Notre Dame and it gets the green light of approval. You get a ton of clicks. It doesn't matter if it's a fact. It doesn't matter if you're playing games with the facts. If you jump and pile on Notre Dame right now, it is approved. Society and social media has approved it. You're going to get a lot of views and a lot of traffic and make a lot of money dumping on Notre Dame. It doesn't matter whether it's factual or the truth or justified or not. If you pile on Notre Dame right now, it's good for business. Doesn't matter if it's true or not. That's something I've learned. It's not even worth battling these people. It's not, they're commenting on Notre Dame basketball. Yeah, didn't they lose to like Purdue's junior college, the extension of Purdue? I don't know what that label is, but didn't they just lose? I don't deal with Notre Dame men's basketball. There's only so much misery I could take in a calendar year. But didn't they literally lose to Indiana's like junior college extension yesterday? Am I dreaming that? I got a bunch of texts about it from you guys that are mad. Let's do a film breakdown of Home Alone. Has anybody seen the videos where they show Home Alone and all the injuries that happened to Ari and Marv? And it's like a surgeon explaining exactly what would have got broken. It's hilarious. Like you have an actual surgeon explaining when Marv gets electrocuted in Home Alone 2 exactly what the voltage is. Oh, God. This is so tough. This is just so tough. Audio only, anywhere you want it, you can get it. Email's always irishnd@gmail.com. Everybody's mad. Email me your mad thoughts. Email me your Freeman fears. Email me whatever you want. I just go ahead. It'll all Notre Dame on S. I read all about it. I got articles for you. John, I'm watching Home Alone for the first time this week, says Jay Carr. How is that even possible? I am a guy who's seen like 7 movies in my whole life, but Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2 are like on the main rotation when this time of year comes around. Come on. And I'm going to say this. As far as sequels go, Home Alone 2 holds up just about as well as any second movie that comes after a successful first one could. Like you could, I could argue Home Alone 2 is better than Home Alone 1. Like it's hard to find a second movie that could outdo the first one and hold up. I'll put Home Alone 2 up there with just about anything. I'm telling you, Marv getting electrocuted in Home Alone 2 is one of my favorite movie scenes of all time. And I'm not going to pull off that. Is that immature? Absolutely. I don't care. He's electrocuted with an afro and a mustache. It's hilarious. He turns into a skeleton. A skeleton! Anyways. So... we're here. We're miserable. Go to the patreon.com/alwaysirish if you need a community. Okay. So I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys think, Andrew Gilmore. Andrew, I don't know why that got me, but it did. I have no idea why that got me, Andrew, but it just did. When I pieced it together with the little accent and everything, that was funnier than I thought it should be. Yeah, we could leave out analyzing how unrealistic Home Alone is and what happens. Like, let's understand we're in fantasy Christmas land a little bit. Oh, that's so funny, Andrew. Oh, God, I got to get back on track. So I want to know what you guys' reaction is to the round one games. And I want to know if you're getting anxious about the Freeman thing. We got a bunch of you that want to jump on. I'm going to do a couple of these chats. I'll give it to you guys. We'll wrap it up and get on with our day. Jay Adler, none of the playoff games were watchable. Not for us. Not enjoyable. In order, my biggest concerns heading into the year: wide receiver, D-line, kicker, punter, tight ends. My number one concern is making sure you have the head coach. You want to make what's going on 100 times worse, try hiring a coach now that the hiring cycle's totally over. Pete Bavacqua, he better have already had a list and know who it's going to be. Don't need to do an interview. You have a deal. If Freeman goes, we're not doing all this extended drama stuff. You're the guy. I don't know any other way to do it. And don't ask me who, but Pete Bavacqua, the day Freeman decides I'm going to the NFL, I don't need this stuff, isn't the day you start that process. So I know he's got a lot on the plate with the ACC and the CFP, but your number one job is to coach at ND. So you got to already know what you're going to do if that drops. Oh, this is just not what I want to be talking about. So Johnny, I think after watching the Patreon video, you should take through the 25th to 29th off. No Twitter, no shows, nothing. I know it's easy for me to say, but keep doing your thing. Yeah, I think it's getting to me. This is all getting to me, and I admit it. Who are the coaching candidates for Notre Dame? I can't. I just can't. I'm not there. I can't even get my brain there. There's already so much bad going on. I can't get my brain there. No, I can't do it today. Text ND. I didn't watch any CFP and I don't plan to. Take a break. See you at spring game. Ben McAdoo, 13-15. Shermer, 9-23. Judge, 10-23. Daboll, 20-40. Freeman's not dumb enough to join that list. Roll Tide. We got some Alabama people. Hey, you got in and you won your game. Good job. Like, you went and won a road game in the playoff. Great job. Like, what do you want me to say? You got in and you won the game. Good job. Good job. That's what you should do. Tex ND. Mendoza's the worst Heisman statistically ever. It'll be the same as the number one pick. Don't think he'll be good. He's good in the system. It follows what the Heisman has turned into. It's usually the quarterback on a really good team. And they're a good team, and he's the quarterback. So you get if there's any doubt, they're going to lean to that. So whatever, man. My Christmas present is, dear John, say the committee got it right with Bama. That's another contention I have. The argument that just because Alabama and Miami won, it means that they got it right doesn't really make sense logically, because you don't know that if you put Notre Dame in either one of those spots, they wouldn't have had a similar or more impressive result. So I don't understand the logic there. All the people on Twitter, oh, Notre Dame, you need to apologize. This proves the committee got it right. No, it doesn't. Notre Dame could have had the same result or a more impressive result. That doesn't prove that. It just proves the teams you went with got the job done. That doesn't mean Notre Dame wouldn't made them look smart as well. Whatever. Maybe give 5% to terrible G5 schools. Swarbrick set up in the, every Notre Dame people understand this. Sankey and Swarbrick were the brain children behind this format, and they were darn proud of it. Swarbrick had a big hand in getting those G5s in and making all these rules. So, like, if you want to be mad about that, be mad at Captain Jack, one of the architects who thought he was a genius for putting this all together. Oh, boy. This one burns deep. At least we won. Notre Dame wasn't even in the playoffs. You got me on that one. Notre Dame. Wow. Slick burn. Oh, man. You got me on that one. The longer Freeman goes without saying he's not leaving, the more concerned I get. Still don't think he's leaving, but you never know. That's the other problem I have. All the people saying, you just need to turn it all forward. You need to look forward to 20. Like, not what's done is done. You just need to move forward. I would love to. Step number one in moving forward is reaffirmation that our coach is still our coach. So that's my response to that. Anybody, you need to get over it and move on. I would love to. As soon as I know our coach is with us, I will move on. Till I have that closure, how am I expected to move on? I think that's as fair as it gets. So I don't know. Mark, this feels like the Twilight Zone. It does. It is uncomfortable, and I don't like it. Sloppy Joes. I'm going to make a prediction. 90% of this show is going to be talk about a couple CFP games that didn't involve ND. Well, what are my other options? To talk about the games that did involve ND that are imaginary? What did you think we were going to talk about? Sloppy Joes. I made them extra sloppy for you. I know how you kids like them extra. You're scaring us, lady. $5 Ryan Elliott. The pain is real. It is, and I feel it. I feel it in my bones. I feel it in my bones. $5 Brian, New York. Anybody interested in Always Irish Fenway Bowl meetup this Saturday? Go Army. That's a long way away for me. That's a long way away. I'm footballed out, bro. I'm struggling. Pat says, the media is leaning into the Freeman and to the Giants extra hard. The stories say nothing new or nothing different. They do. If you pay attention, you guys, a lot of these stories, the verbiage, they dance around the verbiage because it never says like Freeman's pushing for the job. It's all framed that they're going to go after him with mega interest. And then does that make you a candidate or not? Like, say you didn't even talk to the Giants at all, but they're interested in you. Does that make you a top candidate or a top target to be a candidate? See, you could play with that verbiage a lot to get your clicks and get your views. Every one of these articles I saw last night, they were getting more and more clickbaity each time I saw one, as far as how they're talking about it. Does them having a lot of interest in Freeman mean that he's a candidate or they want him to be one? So I don't know. But it is, when you're in the mental and emotional space Notre Dame fans are in, that's the last thing you want to see when you log in online. We're already agitated. We're already in a bad mood. The last thing you want to do when you're agitated in a bad mood is log in and see 20 articles about your coach trying to leave. It's a bad combination. Matt, good morning. It's a bad combination. Okay. So I don't know. It's whatever, man. This is just tough stuff. It's tough stuff. There's no way around it. No way around it. It's not comfortable. And so anybody that wants the Notre Dame people to just move on and start talking about next year, I'm with you, but I need reaffirmation. The NFL stuff's over. And then even then, it buys you 1 year. This is a key takeaway from this show. 1 year. You are on a 1 year to 1 year timeline with Marcus Freeman now. Even if he signs an extension for more years or more money, there's a buyout for a reason. You are in a 1 year to 1 year window, and you better win a championship under Freeman while you got him before something changes. It's an offer he can't refuse. That's the problem with having a hot young coach everybody wants. Everybody wants him. So you better get it while you could get it while you got him, because everybody's after him. All of the big college jobs approached him. Florida, LSU. Penn State, they all reached out, and now you got the NFL. You're on a 1 year to 1 year timeline with this guy. You can't sit there, oh, they signed an extension and more. Now we're good to go for 5 years. Nope. This is a 1 year to 1 year project from now on. You better win a title while you got the guy. That's where this is at, in my opinion. Pat Narduzzi for head coach. I will just retire this show. I'll just retire. I'll go back to the cemetery or something. So they got it right with Bama and Miami. SPF, you would say that. Just because those teams win does not mean that any other team that didn't get in couldn't win. It makes no sense. Am I thinking of this wrong? Just because the teams you put in won doesn't mean that if you put in Notre Dame or another team, they wouldn't have won. Or Notre Dame could have lost. And then what? Then I would have said Notre Dame lost, but they earned their way in. Oh, man. This is tough. Liam, good morning. Everybody on hold, I'll get to you. What's up, Liam?
Johnny, I'm not going to ask how you are. I know how you are.
Yeah, I snapped last night. When I did that Patreon video, I just hit a breaking point. And when I do, the only thing that makes sense is to hit record and spill it out. And I'm sorry if that's not what people wanted on the holiday week or whatever, but that's just where I was at, Liam.
Johnny, I know that I'm part of it, and to a large degree you are too. But has the last 2 weeks made you feel like the Notre Dame fan base is kind of like the island of misfits from the old Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Yeah, it is. We are all we got, Liam. Like you are seeing everything you're stacked up against. You're getting ripped coast to coast. You literally, we are all we have. The Notre Dame, like that's it. This is all we got. Keep talking while I blow my nose. I finally got hit with that sinus thing that usually gets me in October. Keep going. I'll be back. I'm listening.
All right, good. One thing that I wanted to bring up to you is I think you can only worry about things that you can control. And if your coach or one of the coordinators or any coach decides to leave, then I'm not sure that it's necessarily worth any of the mental anguish to fret about it. You got a commitment from, I think, a 4 or 5 star DB over the weekend. You also got one of the best quarterbacks in the class of 2027 to reclassify and play with the guys from 2026. So I think that those are signs that are indicative that Marcus Freeman is going to stay. You don't convince a 16 or 17-year-old to come and play when you're going to jump ship.
Yeah, I like that. But I'm all about that. Like, you can only control what you can control. And one part of that is Notre Dame has really got to look at whatever they did in August that had them misevaluating some of what they had and what they could do. Now, I'm also open to the idea that this was magnified because you were on the road in a hostile environment against a very athletic football team with a new DC trying to learn his personnel on the fly. You also had to navigate the new quarterback. Like, it was a confluence of a lot of very stressful events that Notre Dame did not survive the night under. I don't expect that again because it wouldn't be your first time figuring out what you have with the new DC. But it just needs to be stated. You got to do a better job of knowing what you could do, who could do what for that first game.
That misevaluation was a huge swing and a miss. You had 6 or 7 months to figure out who you wanted to be your starters in a hostile, big situation game, and you messed it up. And that's on the DC. It's also on the head coach too, as well. And someone else brought this to my attention, but I don't think that our record is too thrilling during the month of September over the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
You got to come out of the gates a lot hotter than that.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. And then there's going to be the discussion of scheduling. That's the reason some teams put a lighter team at the beginning of the schedule to learn what you have without the pressure of needing to be pretty perfect. But also it's tough for Notre Dame. A lot of those conference teams want to play Notre Dame early before they get into conference play. So, like, it's not an excuse. You need to be ready.
But you're fighting some of the mantras of the past. You know, the old Notre Dame's used to say, we'll play you anytime, any place. And now what we're saying is, well, if you could squeeze us into the schedule, we'd love to play you, but we'd love to play you at a time that'd be advantageous toward our schedule. So you're kind of trying to reverse how you've traditionally acted.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, man, listen, there is just really no sugarcoating it, man. We're in a bad spot right now. I am all about moving forward. But I just need to know, our guys coming back, that if you get that tweet or that announcement, Freeman's back, even just for a year, that will be like the beginning of the moving forward. Okay, now we could all look forward to next year and move on. But I'm just telling you, you can't tell people to do that. Then they open their phone and there's 20 articles about your coach leaving. You just can't expect that.
I think this has been a tremendous failure by the Notre Dame PR and communications department over the past month. I think, and I put it in the chat, I think they're batting 1,000. You know, where's even the tweet or the message that, hey, we're working on things, or hey, we're ready to make an announcement in a week. Instead, you were expecting to get a new pool for the holidays, and you got a subscription to the Jelly of the Month Club.
Yeah, it's listen, I don't know. I think he's going to be back, but the longer it goes on in the mental frame we're all in, it's not crazy for you to start worrying about it. So whatever, man, whatever.
Right. But whereas, you know, the AD goes on a tour and says nothing. Well, I guess said that there was damage done by the ACC. Nothing has resulted from those harsh words. And now it's time, Notre Dame fans, we've accepted the fact that the season's over. We're unhappy because we're watching James Madison and Tulane in the playoffs, and maybe a Miami, an Alabama, and a Texas A&M team that we think we can beat. And we're starving for some type of leadership shown by the guy who runs athletics, and we've got nothing.
Yeah, it feels like there was a couple ways they could approach it. It's been radio silence after that, the Tuesday presser from Bavacqua. I have not really heard a word since. So they shut it down, get back to business. I think maybe realize PR wise, you're losing the narrative, and they just kind of like chilled out. But I don't know, man. It's a very uncomfortable time. No one's in the mood. And if Freeman's back, you could rally the troops around that. That'll get influx, some positivity. But until then, you're in no man's land. It's very uncomfortable.
I mean, we had some positivity, right? We got one of the best quarterbacks coming in. Now we got 2 quarterbacks for 2026. You got a great DB coming in. What was he, a 4 or 5-star guy? One of the highest ranked guys in the 2027 class. So, you know, your recruiting is going off the charts. Better than Notre Dame has historically done.
Yep.
Probably in 3 or 4 decades since maybe.
Liam, that is another frustration I have. You're finally getting the level of recruiting we've all been begging for forever, and no one's in the mood to really enjoy it and prop it up and lean into it because you have all these other concerns. It's the most Notre Dame thing of all time that right when you get that level of recruiting, no one's in the mood to celebrate. It's so Notre Dame-y.
Yeah, but John, unfortunately, with much power comes much responsibility. You're a good team. People are going to take shots. You're the number one target now, and that's how it's going to be. So as Notre Dame fans, I think it's our job to kind of realign the things that are important. You've got your coach, whether you believe it's going to go well or not. The coach is locked in for 3 or 4 more years.
Yeah.
You've got the players coming in. You've got interest from outside players who want to enter the portal to come and play for your guys. Now it's push them up and win the big one.
Yeah, it is. Man, this is just, it's so not where you want to be. And this playoff experience has been so bad. Liam, anything else on your mind here? I'm hoping everybody could just be with their family for Christmas. Maybe make a deal. We're not going to focus on Notre Dame around the dinner table. Everybody relax. Be with the kids. Like everybody, I think, could use a little break. First and foremost, me.
I think that the last 3 or 4 weeks for Notre Dame fans has been terrible, and at times it's been really rough. But I think we need to give thanks for how cool the last 3 years has been under Freeman, how good the recruiting is, how overall, even though we suffered a few gut punches during the past month, that our PR is way better, and we're in a way better position to be landing top recruits and be fielding top athletes in the past 3 years than we have been since the Lou Holtz era. So overall, you got to be thankful for where we are, and hopeful that they're going to get this deal done with Freeman, so he's definitely here at least another year or two.
Yeah. Yeah, it's when you have a guy that's that young and that sought after, you got to get it while the getting's good. And I said it before, coaching in Notre Dame, it's like being the Yankees manager, it's like being the president. It ages you at an unnatural rate. No one is long for that job. It gets to you over time in a unique way. You got to win while you got the guy. It's the closest Notre Dame's been. You got to get this thing over the hump. Anything else is gravy. Liam, I really appreciate you being around and how thoughtful your contributions are.
Johnny, Merry Christmas. I hope you get to spend nice time with the family, and I hope you, maybe just to relax, you have a few Miller Lights go down the pipe. I think that's the recipe for your success in the next day or two.
You know what? It sounds like a good plan. Liam, God bless you, man. Merry Christmas. Thanks for everything.
And love this show. Thank you so much.
Have a good one, buddy. Man, that's an all-star beard. Man, that's an all-star beard. Happy Monday, Bear Down. Yeah, big win for the Bears, man. A lot of my people in my immediate circle are diehard Bears fans. They waited a long time to be back in the playoff, to get over the Packers hump, all that. Congratulations to all of them. Doesn't affect me emotionally. I obviously follow the Bears, but it's not emotional. Congratulations to all my local Bears people. Tom, I bet Al Golden will be a head coach candidate if it comes down to it. Then you can expect recruiting to go way down. I'm sorry. Recruiting in this modern age, unless you're Kirby, set up somewhere like that and established with the skins on the wall, it's a young man's game. Al would be fine at navigating everything, but I would expect the recruiting to go down. I guess he doesn't have the energy for it. He doesn't have the energy for that dynamic to get it to this level. I believe that. You could disagree. That's my personal opinion. Are we seriously talking about the next head coach like Freeman's gone? Pat, that's where people are at. Everyone's already in a negative mood. You log into the internet and that's all people are seeing. This is how it goes. This is how it goes. But to me, Al Golden, too old to be the head coach at Notre Dame right now. Too old. I want energy. I want somebody that can lean in to this modern era fully. I don't see it. I don't see it. Signetti, good for Signetti is like an outlier to all of this. It's the weirdest thing. All that time at a lower level school, Signetti's like this outlier to everything. Whatever. He could stop all the rumors if he wanted to. Couple more chats. Let's see. Andrew, we'll go right back to the calls. The meeting with Phillips was productive. I'm betting ACC gave ND the scheduling concessions they wanted. Like what? If you don't play Miami, Clemson, or Florida State, who cares? There's not one other team in that conference that interests me. What concessions? When you play teams? If you're not playing those ones, who cares? So boring in the ACC. Man. John, you should go to Lambeau with me. I had plans to go the first year, but the virus canceled it. This is another question. If the ND fan psyche is so weak that you get in a panic over some AI-generated article, Pat, you should know how this goes. People are already in a bad mental place, and then they see repeatedly something that would make it way worse. and you end up with people in a bad spot. It makes complete sense to me. Complete. John, how many championships to get back to neutral on your Notre Dame lifetime misery index? I need 2 to 3. At this point, if you give me 1 while my dad and brother are still alive, I'll take that. I'll take that. Freeman is hurting the team, letting the rumors run wild. Here's the question. What is the proof of that? Having like Johnny nervous at home isn't affecting the team. They're still landing elite recruits. So like, I want to know what you mean by that, right? Because you just landed an elite guy. You got the quarterback to reclassify. So I want you to tell me how it's hurting the team, because until you get to where recruits are nervous to come because of this, I don't think you're hurting the team. But I do think there's a line somewhere. If this is all about leveraging and making NFL contacts for later, or negotiating more salary for the assistants, whatever it is, like there is a line where I don't think you could cross to where it does hurt it. But until then, what's the line? Zach says schools are using it against Notre Dame in the portal. Then you talk to Notre Dame and then they say it's not true. Right? Like, it's not a one-sided discussion. It's not a one-sided discussion where you look at a guy in the portal and they go, are you sure you want to go to Notre Dame? Freeman might leave. Then you talk to Notre Dame and then Freeman reassures them that I'll be here. And then you negotiate price. So I don't know. There is a line where I think it starts to hurt stuff, but I need to know what that is. Like, everybody badmouths Notre Dame in the portal. They're going to make you go to church every day. You're going to have to become a priest. You're not allowed to look at the girls at St. Mary's. Like, they've been doing that forever. Anyways, whatever. This is so... I am very frustrated. Adam, good morning in California, brother.
Good morning, John. How are we, my man?
Bad. Bad.
John, I was being highly sarcastic.
Bad.
John, this has been, I would say, 2 of the worst weeks I've ever felt. And that honestly,
it's just me. It's not just me being oversensitive then.
No, not at all. When it comes to college football, when it comes to Notre Dame, when it comes to sports in general, okay, and I'm including the '89 earthquake with the Giants losing in the World Series. I'm talking when the Niners lost the Super Bowl. I'm talking Notre Dame going and getting trounced by Alabama, and even the Clemson 30-3 loss. None of them, or even losing to Ohio State. For me, none of it is reaching this level that it is right now. And I think it has to do with the fact that in all those other scenarios, you had your chance on the field.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's when you started explaining that, I was trying to think in my own mind of why this is hitting me so deeply.
Yeah.
And it's because a lot of those other painful moments were moments on the field where you had a chance to change it, and at least you were in the position to do that. This is totally unique.
Yeah.
Because you're just wondering, what would we look like playing at Oklahoma, right? What would we look in a rematch against either Miami or A&M? What if we were one of the 2 G5 in one of the G5 spots in games that weren't going to be mismatches to begin with? That's what is getting me. All of those what ifs.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Now, the flip to that coin is we had our chance on the field with Miami and Texas A&M, and we didn't execute. And so when I look into this, now just be aware that I was stuck at work from Monday until Saturday at the firehouse and couldn't get away. And it was all overtime. It was just a chaotic week, whatever. And so I wasn't able to call in. I wasn't able to talk to anybody. I got 2 people that that are fans of USC that work with me. And it was just like man, eggshell city, because, there was just nothing I could do there. I couldn't get away from it. I didn't want to watch any kind of college football playoff analysis, all these other podcasts. I literally would just wait for yours, and then I would listen to it when I could get to it. And I literally had nothing. And I just sat there in isolation thinking to myself, how did this happen? How did we get here? And it came back to the same thing. As much as I went around the merry-go-round of, man, the SEC, the ESPN bias, the whole thing where Goolsby's talking about the Disney puppets and all that. And I understand that and buy into it 1,000,000%, because it is all true. And those are all factors and variables within this. But don't lose 2 games. The onus is on us. It's on us, man. And this is what was it, a year ago? And I've been saying it numerous times. I said scheduling is so important. And this is one of the biggest reasons why, man. This is, you're scheduling out 10 years in advance. But so you wouldn't never know, like, oh, well, maybe we'll have a new defensive coordinator, and maybe we'll have a new, scheme and new, personnel, and, oh, I don't know, a rookie quarterback. But the reality is that you have to anticipate that there could be some kind of nuances into that, realm. So don't put the heavy hitters in the beginning and think like that's okay. It turns into this, you have to have it moment all at once. In Major League Baseball, if you lost your first 20 games, does not matter. You can still get back in it.
Yeah.
In the NFL, you could go 7-9 and win your division and host a playoff game.
Adam, we knew. After the Miami game, I'm laying there after doing all my work, processing it. I'm thinking this is going to come back to burn us. Then when you did the A&M one, I'm going, if you're fortunate enough to win out, this is really going to come back to burn you. And sure enough, both of them did. That is the big lesson. All of this could have been avoided if you just went 1-1. You didn't even have to win both, Adam. 1-1 would have been perfectly sufficient. You just had to go 1-1.
1-1. And when man, one of the better videos, you put out some great content, but one of the better ones was when you were talking about, what if one play went one way or the other, your entire season, as well as your trajectory of this team, and who's declared for the draft, and who's, being, hawked by every single team from, high school to college to pros on your coaching staff. It's incredible, the difference. And I'm not going back to a Buckner, miss now. I'm saying that's one of them, but I'm saying that there were so many different opportunities in the Miami game when we were screaming at the safety, like, go after the ball. You're watching the ball on this, floating to the end zone thing where this guy makes a la Odell Beckham catch. And it's just like, get after it. You have to do it now. And this is such a, isn't it just a lesson for all of us? It's like, if you want something, or if you're going to go get it now. Because if you keep waiting, or if you think like, oh, it'll happen in the next couple months, or it's okay if I drop this one or whatever, you might not get that chance. You might be in so much, kind of like debt, so to speak, that you can't get back to par, and it's just, it's part of it. So I think the hardest thing for me is the fact that everything just seems to be blown up. A month ago, it was Notre Dame was the darling of college football. What Marcus Freeman was incredible. Notre Dame is fun and cool again. Like all these different things. The recruiting classes, and it all blew up. And now we're a bunch of whiny crybaby fans. I mean, I'm like, what the hell happened? Like, it's just, I mean, thank God for Michigan. Thank God for all the coach at Ohio, like these different things that are like kind of taking some of that focus off of us, because it helps, in that regard. But at the same time, it just comes back to the same thing, man. Wow. I mean, I'm not even, the only football I watched was the last drive of the Texas A&M and Miami game. And at the end, I literally was just like, I think I'm going to throw up, because now you're telling me Miami is going to continue.
It's frustrating. And you know what I was thinking about, Adam? I wonder how different of a mind space we would be in if, like, when the first rankings came out, Notre Dame was well below Miami and they used head to head. Like, I'm wondering how that framed it, having us in the comfortably in the playoff field most of those weeks. I'm wondering how much that had to do with it compared to if in the first rankings they said Miami's lost a couple, Notre Dame's lost a couple, but they beat them, they're ahead of them. I'm wondering just if we would be in a different place of more open to all of how it ended up, instead of every week you're in it and you think you're in it and you're in it and you're not. I've been thinking about how that framed the misery we're in now too, that you were a pawn in that game.
John, 1,000,000% that factors in, because I'll tell you right now, if they told us, they're like, hey, you guys are whatever, 11 and Miami's 10 or however they wanted to frame it, I would have sat there and said, you know what? That sucks. It makes sense though, because they did beat us. And if the coin flipped the other way, I would be saying the same thing. But man, but the Alabama thing that really rubs me the wrong way, especially because of the SEC bias and the whole fact that they sat there and they said, you know what? Every single team that's ever lost in a conference championship has moved, at least one spot. But you know what? This one, even though they kind of made it look somewhat not good at all in that game, and then they got, I don't know, what were they hanging their hat on? They hung their hat on a 4th down conversion in the Iron Bowl game. Oh, you're killing me here, man. You're really killing me. And so they decided not move them. That was the one where I was like, but I would say to your point, I do believe that I would be, if the final rankings just came out, I would have sat there and said, okay, I got questions. I understand the Miami thing. I don't understand the Alabama thing. What happened to BYU? And, but again, then the format, right? They had to go with the format. But anybody who understands college football, and sits there and watches this, they know that Tulane and James Madison had zero business being in this. But it's the way the format was built. So you can't fault the committee on that one. That's just, they're just putting them in, so the whole thing, the whole system is just shattered. And my hope is between now and January 8th, they figure out the exact system that they need to put in that will be, it fixes the head-to-head in the ACC, which is a total joke. And I will say this, John, that I believe the committee was not banking, because they didn't have any kind of foresight to see the way the ACC would play out. I don't think they were, that Duke would win.
I think they were thinking for a while, the way Miami was playing, they would catch another loss and be able to avoid this entire issue with Notre Dame and them. To Miami's credit, they did turn it on and take care of business later in November. Good for them. They did.
Yeah, you still lost to Louisville. You still lost to SMU. You know what I mean? Like, and this is where it becomes, the human factor is so intensely kind of just molded into this, because how can it not be? It's a bunch of humans sitting in a room yapping about their billions of dollars and whether or not they think this team is better than that team, or Paul, he's donated a lot more, and so we have to figure that out. And you know what was funny though, John? The one thing I was thinking of the whole time was I sat there, and I don't mind WPP, man. He cracks me up, and he and I did a debate on here earlier in the year or whatever. But the funny thing was when he was like, John, I'm telling you, I know somebody who sat there and said, Miami's out. They're not going to be in it. And it's a done deal. Notre Dame's in, all these different things. I'm all, well, where was that? Because I could use that right now.
Yeah, he would say the circumstances changed, from when that discussion was had. So, Adam, it's very frustrating. It's not enjoyable, not enjoying the games. Just want to move forward. That's all you could do.
Yeah.
It's tough. I hope you're able to be with the family, enjoy the holiday. Don't talk about football. Just be together.
That's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. I'm still trying to kind of explain to my oldest why Notre Dame's not in it, because he's like, what? Well, he's all, I don't even know where Tulane is. I'm like, I get it. I'm like, we'll look it up on a map. I'm going to show you. Yeah. It's things like that. But this, how you and I were talking about it before, this world is revolved around money and power and a lot of different things in that nature. And college football is no different. And we're watching it, on every single level. And now we're watching it in the players. I mean, look at how many players quarterbacks even have already declared for for the transfer portal.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, why is that? Like, what's happening? It's because they're trying to brand their business of themselves. And so it's just a totally different animal. And I think it's something that we're going to have to get used to, especially for the people like ourselves who are a little bit older and, kind of came from a more traditional way the system was. But then at the same time, hey man, they used to just bring the cash through the back door. Now they're just bringing it through the front door. So it is what it is. It
is what it is. Adam, be safe out there, man. Have a good Christmas with the family. We'll talk to you later in the week, I'm sure. Thanks, buddy.
You got it, John. Take care, bud.
See ya. I've seen a ton of fake AI articles. I'm telling you guys, I'm in this business. Clickbait sells. We are under strict direction from our bosses and the editors at SI. If you put out clickbait, you're fired from writing on the site. If you even have an article that you send in as a draft that the editor has to review before it goes live on the SI website, even if the title's clickbaity and the article's not, we're not allowed to use it. They are against it. Not a lot of people operate that way. SI wants to protect that brand legacy. We get reminders all the time. Anything clickbait, you're fired. We don't do that here. There's so much AI, fake generated, regeneration of old articles with the new title, all saying the Freeman. I admit it's totally offensive the way people are leaning into that Freeman NFL thing to get the clickbait stuff. It really, really is. No, I'm actually doing the opposite of that. And you're adding to the clickbait with this BF Freeman conversation. Reacting to the disingenuous stuff being put out is different than generating the fake BS being put out. Do you understand the difference? Talking about that and exposing it is different than propagating it. Those are very different things. Very different things. I'm doing the opposite of that. I just told you 1 second ago, I'll get fired if I do that at my job. I'm doing the opposite of that. So what do you want me to do? So let me get this straight. Al Gonzo. Let me get this straight. You want me to totally ignore the biggest narrative surrounding Notre Dame football right now and just totally act like it's not out there at all because we don't think it's happening? Just the number one biggest narrative about Notre Dame right now is that, and you want me to just act like it ain't happening. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. I just went over how I'm literally not allowed to propagate this on my content, even if I wanted to, and I still get accused of it. Santa Claus is coming to town, folks. He's coming to town. Slick Rick, good morning. What's going
good
on?
morning. Oh, not too much. Just at work and at the office. And I just wanted to say a few things. It's really annoying. Everyone keeps saying, on our side that Miami, I can understand the argument that Miami, won the head-to-head, and I can see why you would argue. You don't lose in the middle of like if Notre Dame lost to Boise State and Navy, or actually they have better records than the teams that Miami lost to. But if it was the other way around, I wouldn't have been arguing that Notre Dame should have been in over Miami. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Like, there is no argument when you lose in the middle of the season to SMU and Louisville. Like, I mean, yeah, they look better at the end of the season, and they won their playoff game. I understand, but still, I mean, I hate that people were saying the whole time, like, oh, if it was Notre Dame, I'd be saying the same. And you said the same thing, like I'd be arguing the other way around. But I honestly, like, if it was Notre Dame, they wouldn't have deserved to be in that situation. If the situations were flipped, then I would not have been arguing that Notre Dame should have been in. So I don't know.
You could argue that you have a bigger issue with Alabama and even Oklahoma over Notre Dame, over Miami. At least like Miami beat Notre Dame on the field. You could have a problem. I was going back to those latest rankings going, hey, why can't I argue we should be ahead of Oklahoma? Forget Alabama for a second, but like Oklahoma impressed me. But if you go 10-2 in the SEC, you're going to get major credit for that. That's just the bottom line.
Yep. But it's just tough, man. You know, I'm 41 years old and I've been waiting for him to win a championship, and it feels like something got took from us this year. You know, we had a real shot. So and I'm 5 minutes from the horseshoe. I'm in Columbus, which makes it even worse.
Oh, that's tough. But I'm 41 as well. We're the exact same age. So you were too young to remember 88. And then everything we can remember is ended in pain. Like our generation is stuck. Like we're just at the cutoff where you were too young to realize we won one, and then we've had nothing since.
The very first game I watched was 93. You know, Florida State, Notre Dame was my grandpa, and that's what made me a Notre Dame fan. But it's tough, man. But the program has changed so much under Freeman, and it just feels different. So I think everything's going to be fine, and we're going to have a real shot next year, and maybe moving on, it'll be good.
Slick Rick, do you have any fear about the Freeman stuff, or do you just think it's pile on Notre Dame? This is all while it's hot, pile on Notre Dame, make it as bad. Do you think that's it?
Yeah.
Tell the customer you're closed for the holiday.
So no, actually my son is a big Giants fan, and he keeps telling me it's not happening. You know, he's like, they're really looking for an offensive coach, and he just doesn't feel that it's going to happen at all. So I'm not worried about it. But there's the high state flag right behind me in my office. I got to deal with that every day. But hey, man, I don't mean to be rude. I appreciate you having me on, but I do need to go.
Hey, I'm sorry, man. Thanks for joining at work, man. I'm happy to get you while I can. Call again, Slick Rick.
I will. Thanks.
Stay tough, man. Oh, that's brutal. The guy's. Could you imagine me stuck working at an office where every single day, it's already bad enough I have to interact with the public, and then I walk in there and I see this Ohio State flag every single day? Could you imagine it? Al Gonzo. So why stop talking about it? Then he said 40 minutes of nothing but propagation of those rumors. My job here is to kind of talk about whatever the common themes of the Notre Dame fan base are. That's my lane of expertise. It's not X's and O's. It's not behind the scenes recruiting. It isn't all that stuff. I am kind of a microphone of where the fans are at. And I had to turn my phone off over the weekend because I was getting nonstop negativity about the Freeman stuff every time I open up my phone. I am not making up that this is in Notre Dame fans' heads. All weekend, that's what I was seeing, and I'm bringing it up. So that's kind of where I'm at. Just because we don't like it doesn't mean I can ignore it. Now, my position on it is I think Freeman's ultimately going to be back in Notre Dame. I do. But in the position we're in and the mood everyone's in and everything that's happened, I understand that there's a heightened sense of dread. And I think that is completely fair and understandable. I think he's going to be back, but I don't appreciate all this extra BS on top of everything else we're dealing with. But my job here is to reflect some of the issues where the fan base is at. And all weekend, I had to put my phone down because every single text thread I was in was about that. I'm sorry, man. That's just where everybody was at. It's a struggle, man. Let's get Renee in and out. He's at work. What's going on, Renee?
Hey, buddy, how are you? I mean, I know how you are, but hey, good day. Good day.
Good day.
Good day to you, buddy.
What's up?
Hey, look, tough to watch, man, and tough to try to swallow, and man, you go on these other chats and they're just Notre Dame. First, I just want to hit some points real quick because I get a little scatterbrained. I'm not for the conference fee, okay? So everybody that's a Notre Dame I'm not. I rather, like Emiliano Zapata said, man. I rather unalive on my feet. Yeah, I'd rather unalive on my feet than live on my knees, bro. I'm not gonna bend the knee to the whole conference narrative thing, bro. Okay. I know you can't say so much. So I won't say it. I don't want to get you trouble. Okay, that's the great words of a old Mexican revolutionary. I'm not gonna bend any. It made Notre Dame what it made Notre Dame. This whole schedule stopped at the beginning. It's like, at what point does that stop? At what point does that really stop? The schedule soft and no, man, schedule how you're gonna schedule and play the game. There's 11 men on the field. Like and I know we're gonna get the whole well there was only 10 men against Ohio State. There's 11 on 11. Only 11 can play at a time, man. You know what I mean? Only 11 can play at a time.
Way
So
to
it
go.
doesn't.
Thanks a lot, Renee. You reminded me of another nightmare.
Hey, brother, but here's the thing. The thing is, man, like, um, only 11 can play at a time. Okay, so this, schedule that. No, man, just no. And I'm sorry, John, because I come from a different type of, thing. Like, if you're a tough guy, take on all comers, man. If you're the champion of that weight class, take on all contenders. You know what I mean? So that's as far as that. Now here's the thing. What I want to say. Hey, James Madison and Tulane did what they needed to do, bro. And disagree with me if you're not. They did. That's what it said. The group of five, it's set there. It's set in stone because Captain Jack, they did what they needed to do to get in and to have their chance. Like it or not, bro, it is what it is. It's the truth. They did what they needed to do. That's why I was rooting for our boy, Gerard Parker, man. Remember I said, hey, I'm rooting for Gerard Parker against them because then they would have not got in. Okay, if conference championships matter so much, why is not Duke in? Okay, that's another point. My other point is this. You're not, and this is what really bugs me more than anything. You're playing against Grambling, the Citadel, Utah Tech. You're playing against Peninsula I&M Institute of Military somewhere in New Mexico with 300 people. That bothers me, bro. The reason why, because you're not playing against Montana State, North Dakota State. You're not playing the top. If you're going to play FCS schools, you're not playing the top FCS schools. You're still playing the bottom barrel FCS schools. How is that counted as a win? That's what bothers me. How can you count that as a win? You know, John, me and Coach Bell live in a small country town with 30,000 people. One of my old film kids, where I tell you, at university, where I coached in Northern Utah, got a scholarship at the University of Oregon right after Chip Kelly left. And he's the one that took me into those rooms, the coaches' rooms, because he had access to them. Things are kind of not open to the public. And that's how I know they're made out of Ferrari leather, football leather. Hey, they had put $50 million into just the athletic facility. Just for the football. This is just the football, nothing else. Not the Ducks track, which is really good, not the women's basketball, just the football, okay? My little country town, bro, doesn't have that money to put into SUU football. Okay? But you're playing a team like that and you're considering it a win, John.
Yeah.
That's my problem. Hey, I was rooting for Kalani. Remember, Kalani is a friend of mine. BYU wins, problem solved. We're out. Hey, John, you said it best. Head to head. Hey, homie, you didn't handle your business in front of you. You didn't.
John Bryce on Football Scoop, he has been heavy leaning on the argument of why is it never brought up how many Power 4 teams you schedule and where those wins come from. If you want to stack wins, it should only be the Power 4 level ones that count or whatever. He's been heavy on that. It doesn't seem to penalize the Power 4 teams if they schedule one of them.
No, and that's the thing. Why aren't you penalized for that, man? That's my problem there. Hey, Miami, you beat us, get in. Texas A&M, you beat us, get in. We didn't handle business. I could take it, man. Hey, and now Freeman's being quiet because I think he's really just reflecting on what do we do to not start off the season like this? Because look, a good leader takes the responsibility of the failure of the team on his shoulders, which I know he's doing. He's probably reflecting man, what did I do wrong to not be the best version of Marcus Freeman for these boys to miss the playoffs? Yeah. Bro, that's a hard pill to swallow as a competitor. It is. And I'm gonna call Chris today. Chris, when they got the Collins show on the Ohio Pod, I'm gonna debate that dude. I love his passion, but he doesn't like it. But here's the thing, bro. That's where I'm at. That's my problem. The whole scheduling stuff, throw it out the window. The whole bend the knee to join the conference, throw it out the window, bro. Because the truth is, if conference championships matter, why is Alabama in? You got 3 losses. Why did Duke not get in? You won your conference. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's the thing. You got it. You can't. The rest of the country can't have it both ways either, though. They can't. You know what I mean, John? And that's my problem. Is those small. You're not playing North Dakota. You're playing Grambling, who hasn't won a national title in the historically black college university league since 2016. Okay, we have one in 33. Yeah, but we've been playing everybody though. We have, and if we play patty cake schedules because half of them is ACC. What is Purdue? Okay, I thought they were Big Ten. And who's the other Big Ten team we played? Who's the other Big Ten team we played this year?
Yeah, and
John?
here's the other thing, Renee, is Notre Dame's taken a lot of crap that a lot of the teams they played weren't that good or whatever.
Right?
Those teams are on the schedule years in advance. How are we supposed to know that when Purdue got on the schedule, they were pretty good? How did we know they were going to fall apart? Like those ACC teams, it's not our fault they're down. People act like we schedule the games 2 weeks before them and pick the worst teams to schedule. That's not how it goes.
Exactly. And yes, USC. Last I checked, aren't they in the Big Ten? So this conference that you're defending so much, you're bashing those teams. Okay, so what is it? You guys can't have it both ways either. You know what I'm saying, John? And at last I checked, here's one thing that I'll give the ACC. Prior NIL, last I checked, the ACC was the only conference minus when Urban beat I think Saban, I can't remember when with Carlos Hyde and their 4th-string quarterback, and everybody was making a big deal about it. The ACC is the only conference prior NIL that gave the SEC the run for their money. Jameis Winston, Clemson twice. They won 3, you know what I'm saying, against the SEC. So like this whole narrative that, come on, man, you guys play just as weak teams as we do. But there's a big difference, John. We don't play bottom barrel FCS schools. That's the difference, man. And no, man, okay, bad wins shouldn't count, but neither should bad losses, shouldn't count, or good losses, shouldn't count, but bad wins shouldn't count either, man. You know what I'm saying, John? Hey, John, have a Merry Christmas, brother. I love you guys, man. I love the chat. I know that it's going over. We got trolls in here, man, and all this and that. But if you're a tough guy, man, win, lose, or draw, man, take on all people, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and quit picking on the little guy in the FCS school and the 30,000 people town in southern Utah where you got a $60 million facilities and we barely got a $5 million facility. Come on, man. John, I love you, buddy. I'm Notre Dame.
Hey, man, be safe out there. Get out of there and go be with your family. It's holiday weekend. Suds, he says, every single thing for the last 3 months has gone the opposite way of what we needed. Why would that trend change now regarding Freeman? Suds, that is the sentiment I've been getting a lot of. And maybe that's my orbit and I'm a worrier or whatever, but that is the sentiment I'm kind of reacting to, is that kind of thought of like, everything's gone against us, so why not this on top to make it a slam dunk right on our head? Again, I think Freeman's going to be back, but I understand the concern and I understand that no one's in the mood for it. If Notre Dame was in the playoff right now, maybe won a round 1 game in the playoff, and you have all these articles saying whenever Notre Dame's done, NFL teams want to talk to Freeman or whatever, like this would all be different. To me, this has to do with the mindset Notre Dame fans are in right now, which is in a dark place. That has a lot to do with this, is the mindset. If you were in the playoff and won a game or whatever, and you heard the NFL wants them, this is all different. It's the mindset the Notre Dame fan base is in has a lot to do with it. This is really funny. Haggle. I'm just over here waiting for my building to be finished, but my contractor's calling in to talk to Kennedy every day. Am I paying you per hour? Oh, man. Opting out of the bowl was a horrible decision. Here's the issue. did you see the tweet that came out listing the amount of Notre Dame guys that were going to opt out of this game? You would not have been able to field a proper competitive team. There was literally a tweet and it said, here is a list of guys that reportedly would have opted out. You wouldn't even have been able to field a team and call it Notre Dame. So then what do? Play a game and you have like third stringers out there when you have 20-something frontline guys that are out? Or are you going to say that those Notre Dame guys that would have opted out are weak-minded, not competitors because they did whatever? So that's difficult. That's very, very difficult. So I don't know, man. That's just a tough dynamic. Mark with glasses is asleep. What's up, Mark?
All right, I'm going to try something different today.
Am I putting you to sleep?
No. I just was closing my eyes. And maybe it's because I started a diet and my wife's making me take these. She's pushing smoothies. I'm doing fish oil and all this, but I might be in my villain mode today.
I like it.
So this I just jotted down while I was on hold. If Notre Dame regular schedule played Florida State, Wisconsin, Georgia, Vanderbilt, Missouri, Tennessee, Auburn, South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma, we would never hear the end of it. Think about that. Look at that schedule, then look at what we played. I'm coming in hot. If anybody wants to keep carrying on about CJ Carr, go ahead. I'm just going to give my opinion. I think it's utter nonsense and how it's being done. He's got stats, but what about wins? 10 games in a row, the 2 losses. He played good in those 2 losses, 500 yards, 4 touchdowns. Yeah, but he doesn't run. Jared Clark loves the guy, says he's elite. Tim Hyde does. I think, again, narrative, nuance. But let's all buckle up. We got 8 or 9 months. So you can challenge the status quo all you want, but a year 1 starter can only get better. And keep trying to be raw, but you're cooked when it comes to Carr.
Mark, I do think, especially losing Price and Love, it is going to be CJ Carr's offense, man. Maybe some other playmakers will emerge that will carry the load, but when you lost kind of that engine you could rely on, those 2 backs, this is going to be Carr's offense, and that year 1 to year 2 jump is going to be required for Notre Dame to reach its goals next year. I'm excited to see where it leads because it is very much going to be more of his offense. At least early.
Yeah.
Till you know what you have with the new running back dynamic.
I say good.
Yeah.
He just had numbers on par with the Heisman Trophy winner. And I know stats don't matter, but stats measure production. So I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know what we're complaining about. He had better numbers than Dante Moore, supposedly, high NFL draft pick.
Man, I keep seeing, am I dreaming or did I keep seeing them flash that they had Dante as the number 1 pick after 26? It kept showing on the bottom of the playoff game. And it said Mel Kiper's number 1 overall pick, and it was Dante.
Yeah, so, and the most encouraging thing on my radar for next season is this will be the first time Freeman will have a returning starting quarterback. That seems pretty significant. This is the first time since Ian Book we've had a returning quarterback.
Mark, what a really good point about how far ahead you start the whole process of getting your team together when you know who that guy is and you could just rally behind him and build an offense around him rather than all the drama. We're splitting reps. Who's the number one? This guy, that guy, whatever, all that instability. Totally different vibe when you go into it knowing that's our guy and we just need to make it good around him. Notre Dame will be starting ahead there. Very good point.
And he's not a finished product, nor should he be. It's his first year. He got named. He got the job 12 days before the season started.
Yep.
It's disingenuous to say a lot of this. He played a huge part having the number one scoring offense in the country. Yes, he benefited from Love being on the field, but both things can be true. And he was a huge part. And so I'm trying to be optimistic. They won 10 in a row, 23 of the last 26. We got CJ Carr coming back. And he's more than capable. He's more athletic than some people give him credit for. Should he use his legs more? Maybe. And while I'm bitching, Notre Dame just lost to Purdue Fort Wayne yesterday.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
So this coach is a bum. I looked it up. He's 10 games below 500 in the conference, 0-10 versus ranked teams. And if you remember last year, Jack Sobel asked the guy a simple, straightforward question. The guy went on a 3-minute hissy fit talking about, I'm taking receipts. They knocked his microphone off, and I'm keeping receipts too. And look at this. Who the hell is Purdue Fort Wayne?
Never heard of it. Never heard of it.
In full context, I grew up going to Notre Dame basketball games.
Yeah.
I got props here. Alfonso Ellis. This is a complete disgrace.
Mark, I've always struggled with Notre Dame men's basketball because I just always think you're in a bad position when you always know you're never going to be the top priority, because Notre Dame football is such an institution. It's a hard job to win at because you're never the priority. It's just, I've always felt like that would be a tough dynamic to succeed in when it's not like a Carolina when the basketball is the biggest thing, or Kentucky or somewhere like that, where basketball is the main deal. I've always thought it'd be hard at Notre Dame because you're just never the priority, no matter what. But if you're bad, people are mad. But even if you're good, you're never what football is.
Problem. I know that. Real quick about the brackets.
Yeah.
So this is my prediction. I got Oregon beating Ohio State.
Yeah.
But in regards to the 16 teams that I anticipate being announced in January, I think seed all 16 teams, throw the bubble teams and the G5s to your top seeds. It's basically going to operate as a bye week. Let them get blown out and embarrassed. They're still included in the tournament. And then, they're not sitting for 2 consecutive weeks if they do the stupid play-in game.
Yeah.
So let them. Sorry, I'm rambling. I got 2 more props for you. I got my top 5 Christmas movies, and I want to read a Christmas story to you. Is that all right?
Let's go.
All right. Top 5 Christmas movies. I'll make it quick. Christmas Vacation, Home Alone, Elf, The Santa Claus, Ernest Saves Christmas.
I like that, Ernest. That's a nice one to throw in the Ernest. That's a good.
I got all the Ernest movies.
Now, okay. Home Alone 1 or 2? Are we including those 2 together? And then you could pick Home Alone 1 or 2? 1? That's okay. That's a good list. Right. I appreciate you giving our childhood credit with the Ernest, because that was a movement there for a while.
Oh, yeah. I grew up on Ernest.
Yeah.
All right. Do you mind if I read a story?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. It's the night before Christmas. All right. The night before Christmas, the brackets came out and posted all about. We all thought we'd be in. We were left out. That's supposed to be Dr. John. Notre Dame fans nestled snug in our beds while the committee had ESPN visions dancing in their heads. Come hide. Well, now here we are. It arose such a clatter when our families all ask us on Christmas, what's the matter? Oh no, look at Tom Frawley. Tom, what's wrong, Tom? When what do my wondering eyes should appear, I'm reminded it's like 7 months until next year. But as I think about that, so long out of sight, happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Nobody's ever
Also-
seen. There he is. There's old Jack. He's a jolly elf. Oh, Mark, that's fantastic, dude. You are a creative wizard, my friend. Can I ask you one thing? What is your Freeman fear level with the NFL? Are you with Pat that this is very overblown by a media that's going out of their way to push the negative Notre Dame angle as far as they can? Or do you have genuine concern? We're already down. Go ahead and make us down and out. What is the reality of what the concern level should be? I honestly don't know. But no one's in the mood to have this problem hanging over you with where we're at right now. What do you think is the truth?
Yeah, I think deep down everyone's tracking it, and you have to be somewhat concerned because it seems like they have to see the kind of concern and vibes of the fan base, and you think what better way to kind of reiterate that we're up and running and everything's fine. But I'm just kind of operating like he's coming back until I hear otherwise.
Yeah. And I totally get that. Like, don't worry about a problem till you have to when we already have enough problems, right? Like, I totally get that. Have you watched the games? Did you enjoy them? Was it painful? Did you check out? What did you do for these games?
Yeah, I watched them. I fell asleep during the I don't remember what games. That's how much I care about them. But yeah, I'm not into them, but they're on, and I'm watching them.
Yeah.
The ones coming up should be good. I mean, Oregon, Texas Tech, Alabama, Indiana, Miami, Ohio. Like, these are going to be good games.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And you know what, man? Oregon, Texas Tech really interests me because I want to see Texas Tech play one of these teams that I know have athletes around. Like, I think that's going to be interesting. Yeah, this next round of games is going to be significantly more engaging, all of them, than the first round for obvious reasons. But it's still just pain. It's just pain.
Yeah, I really hope Alabama beats Indiana. That's probably the one I have the most stock in. But yeah. But that's all I got. CJ Carr is good.
Mark is in a mood. Nikki Dean, $5 holler. Maybe Bavacqua is saving Freeman's extension as a Christmas gift. That would be welcome. It would be one less thing to worry about. $20 holler, Tom Chris. What's up, John? I haven't caught a live show. Hope all is well. Merry Christmas. Love you guys, man. Can't wait to see everybody. Really, really can't wait to see everybody. I'm already looking forward to the blue and gold tailgate. Just to see everyone. For us all to be together. Just for us all to be together, man. I'm already looking forward to it. It's the next chance we're all going to have to gather and commiserate. $10 holler, 74 Ohio. Get this extension signed. Too many sharks in the water. If Freeman doesn't want to be extended, then that'll tell us what we need to know about his future in South Bend. Yep. Nobody knows exactly what's going on behind the scenes, man. Nobody knows. $5 holler, the dig. If you decide to go back to cemetery business, I have an NIL deal. Yeah, that's like one of the only guys I've ever met that actually understood my line of work. We were at the tailgate talking about vaults moving in the ground and how you got to dig graves and all the little nuances and what could go wrong. I've met a lot of funeral directors. I haven't met a lot of guys that are literally in that world I was in of, we need to put a casket here and there's no room to do it. We have a big problem because the funeral procession's arriving in 2 hours. And this casket needs to fit between these two, and there ain't enough room. What do we do? That's what I was used to. It's a wild world out there, man. You wouldn't think it, but it's wild. It is a wild, wild world. Tom, what's going on? Chicago's very own.
Well, John, I'm coming at this with a little different take. I actually have been thinking about the recruiting class that's coming in.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I think what Marcus Freeman and his coaching staff needs to do so as not to repeat what they did in the first 3 weeks of the season. Remember, there was a bye week there. So he's got to start treating his bye weeks. I realize they're playing Wisconsin, and but they're going to be up for that game, and then they got to play Rice. You got to blow the doors off them. But before that, he has to evaluate this talent that's coming in, and he's got to reevaluate the talent that's already on the squad. And that starts with the offensive line. And I'm telling you, I am so optimistic if they can figure out the key to the offensive line. And then they also have to.
Hey, Tom, can I interject?
Yeah,
can I ask
go
a
ahead.
question about this, buddy?
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of Notre Dame media and fans that are like really upset Emil Wagner's going. I think they feel like there are cheaper, better, younger options that could provide longer-term stability. Are you with me on that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I thought you might be.
Yeah. I listen, they have to circle the wagons, right? So and I think this is part of the narrative, all this NFL talk and everything. I mean, if that is a true story, there's nothing we can do about it. But I have to believe that Marcus Freeman and his coaching staff they really have to circle the wagons and really figure out, okay, how do we get this team back into contention? There's no question in my mind that they could run the table next year. I mean, in the regular season. So if you think about it, this is the goal. They will go 12-0. They'll have a 22-game winning streak, and they're going to be hot. This is what they have to do. They have to set those parameters. And I'm not being Pollyanna. I'm not trying to tell people not to be pissed off about what's happened to us and everything, but to focus on the actual narrative that look what we've got coming back. I actually can't wait to see that offense, the offensive backfield. And I am going to make a bold statement. I think the offense is going to be more efficient than this one was because CJ Carr comes back in his, second year at the helm. And I think we're going to see him make a huge jump. I could be wrong, but and then he's going to have some real good receivers. He's going to have 3 real good tight ends. And, Greathouse is coming back. I know that does not actually fire up a lot of the fan base, but the kid's got some talent and he's got experience. He could be a possession receiver. Yeah.
You know what I think, man?
Yeah, go ahead.
With everything you're covering right now, I think you'll agree with me. The offensive line is kind of the through line that connects all these pieces you're referencing with Carr taking the next step. Whatever
Absolutely.
comes next with the running backs, some young, exciting tight ends, and some developing receivers. And if you add one in the portal or whatever, that having that O-line be kind of put together more in one piece, like
Yes.
I think that is the through line that would make all those pieces you're talking about come together. And I really hope they can have a year where they're just kind of all put to pretty much in one piece. It'd be really nice.
Yeah, and then they have to concentrate. I really think that the coaching staff is concentrating on the transfer portal to go get 2 big stud defensive tackles. That's
Yeah,
got
you
to be
need that.
that's got to be priority one.
Yeah.
Get a receiver, possibly get a nickel back, to help at our corner nickel position. But I just love this team. I like the way that it's situated. I like the depth, and we're going to see what happens. Come the springtime, and you know what? I hope it's very boring. And it should be very boring. I don't want Marcus Freeman and his coaching staff to actually hype up what's going on there. I want it as boring can be. And you tell the media nothing, especially the national media.
Yeah.
I would lock those people out as much as I could.
Nice catch. Good job there. Some censorship, some Christmas censorship.
Yeah.
Good job, buddy. Good job. I noticed that little hitch. I knew where you were going.
Yeah,
Good
I got a hitch
catch.
in my get up. I was ready.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
I can't have you getting fined or anything. So we will abstain from all of that nonsense. But I'll tell you what, I think by the time we figure out, you start seeing the depth chart for the offensive line and what's coming in on the transfer portal. So we've got between the 2nd of January and the 16th. That's going to be a good shot in the arm for all of us fans that are down in the mouth. If they can, if Freeman and company can really pick up a nasty defensive line, we need 2 players, right? And I'm sorry, I like Donovan Heinisch. He's a good kid, but I mean, he couldn't pull a sick whore off a toilet seat. He's too small. And you got to have some of the beasts ready to go coming from day one, especially Wisconsin. When you look at, they're always big, they're lumbering. I want them to blow the doors off of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So I think it's a realistic expectation on that team. And I know when they were soundly disappointed, this team, what do? They circle the wagons. Now, when they come back to school, those 6 a.m. workouts, on those cold South Bend mornings, and they're going to have to run and lift. They've got to be focused, and I think they are. And that's going to give me great confidence going ahead.
Obviously we're all disappointed the season has ended, but if you want to look at moving it forward, because that's all you could do, remember a lot of last spring was a wash because there were so many recoveries and guys beat up that needed cleanup surgeries. Everything they wanted to do in the spring was watered down, and they weren't able to get that. There was this hangover because the season went almost into February. Sure, I wish that would happen again, but that's not the case. You have a full, clean slate run up to use spring ball to get as much done as you need to get done.
Yeah, and I hope that they're able to circle the wagons, like I said, going into fall camp. Boys are going to be boys, but let's stop the all-terrain vehicles and the jet skis and all that stuff. I want them to have fun. I want them to enjoy themselves. But you know what?
It's like, well, what are the guys doing right before the season? I don't know. I'm channeling my inner Evel Knievel. Is that okay?
Yeah, Evel Knievel. Yeah, and I mean, they have a lot at stake. And I think that narrative is going to change when they actually sit down. So most coaching staffs that are in the position of, the same position that Notre Dame is in, they'll do an assessment of the team, and they'll usually interview every player one-on-one in the off season, to basically go over what their goals are. Where do they see themselves? And it's boring, but it's a very important part of the whole scenario. So, if as long as they're coached like that, I think they're going to be fine. And then, this whole thing with Marcus Freeman, look, I don't know what's going to happen. I know that these agents push this narrative, but my God, can you imagine? Here's a guy that's going to take the New York Giants job, and I don't think he realizes the actual cauldron of crazy fans in New York and New Jersey, and they've been down for a long time. So if they hire Marcus Freeman, they're going to expect a lot right off the bat. And I'm sorry to tell you, he just doesn't have it. I could be wrong, but he's not a pro coach. So that's why I think he stays, and he's going to stay to solidify the next two recruiting classes. I mean, you look at some. I started looking at the film on the running backs that are coming in, and I mean, my goodness, these kids. This is an exciting time.
There's a lot of talent coming in the program, and a lot of the key contributors next year are going to be younger, like in the middle of their career, not at the end. Like, there's a lot to look forward to, Tom.
Yes, there is.
Just there's a lot of negativity to wade through to get over to that side.
Well, and I understand that because this weekend I was really down in the dumps just watching those games, and that was a hard pill to swallow. But I think of how we reacted and how we feel just as fans. Can you imagine the kids on the team? They've got to be really angry.
Tom, that's why I said, in the most juvenile way possible, the best thing for them is to go home and sleep in their own bed, hang out with their own friends, and eat mom's cooking for a few days. I mean it. Everybody needs a little break, reset here. Go home and fill up on mom's food and whatever else and have the comfort home. Everybody needs a little change of pace right now because this whole Notre Dame ecosystem is struggling.
And the other thing that doesn't get talked about too often is the support that the players get from Notre Dame. The tutors and all the coaching assistants and everybody. That I know for a fact that they take these kids' mental temperature and they want them on that path to say, okay, how's your head? Are you doing well? And you know what? I think Marcus Freeman is going to come out of this smelling like a rose. All he's got to do is produce. And I'm so looking forward to that, and all the negativity, I just can't pay attention to it anymore. Just can't.
It's been a lot, man. Hey, Tom, enjoy the start to the week. I still think I'm going to do a Christmas Eve morning show. Maybe we'll be in a better mood. But I am a Wednesday morning. I still think I'm going to go live. So you guys, if you're off work, have nothing to do, family isn't over yet, I think we'll do a fun little short Wednesday morning show.
On Christmas Eve?
Yeah, Wednesday morning, I believe.
That's fantastic. I will try and squeeze it in. And remember what Clarence said, no man that has friends is a failure.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. Tom, I love you, buddy. Thanks a lot. We'll talk offline.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Have a good one. Oh, man. Tom was even a little muted for himself. Look at this. Dr. John, if I'm breathing, I'm at the Blue and Gold tailgate. I think you should come either way, to be honest. I think you should come either way. You ever heard of Weekend at Bernie's? We're going to do Weekend at Johnny's. And if we need to prop you up with a little string, we'll put you in the tailgate of Adam's truck. And if we say go Irish, we'll pull the cord and your arm will go up. So I think you should come either way. I really do. I think you should come either way, Dr. John. We're going to save a spot for you, buddy. We're going to save a spot. Mangoes, what's going on, brother?
Time to new college football. All right. So I had time to think about this, and this whole argument with Notre Dame joining the conference, everything that's surrounding the noise by surrounding Notre Dame, it does not make any sense. So first off, they're going to go, okay, you should have won 2 football games. Fine, fair enough. Notre Dame fans just hold themselves accountable. But then again, how do you explain a 3-loss SEC team getting into the playoffs? That kind of eliminates that argument. And then you got 10 wins. So
all right.
What?
Mangoes, let me play the other side of it. The other side of it is, why should Alabama get punished for earning their way into a game other teams comfortably in the playoff field are not at risk of losing because they didn't do as good as Alabama in the regular season? That's the pushback.
Well, my pushback is that if it stands to reason that Alabama has got in because they lost, don't forget, this is the same Alabama team that lost to a 3-9 FSU team. So what's their excuse with that? That's my pushback on that. If that's the case, then why would you grant that Alabama has gotten better throughout the year, but yet you're not looking at the same argument for Notre Dame when they, for one, have a really good top freshman quarterback only behind Julian Sain and that one quarterback from BYU. Why is that not being looked at? And the 10-win game streak, I mean, like, how many football games you guys need to win before you go being considered? And let's forget about the committee jerking you guys around. I mean, these anti-Notre Dame troll goofballs are always looking at a different argument to make sure that they get to dunk on Notre Dame. I'm not a fan of this. This whole thing doesn't make any sense where you're making excuses for another team that lost more football games than Notre Dame. Notre Dame won 10 of their games. They're the first 2-loss team, and yet they get left out. BYU and Notre Dame got screwed over. And what it boils down to, it's money. Notre Dame doesn't have a conference, so that money will stay at Notre Dame. It's not going to get distributed. And that's why you saw James Madison and Tulane get in. And it's just like you follow the money. It's not about having the best team in the playoffs. It's about what's best for the conferences to get money. I mean, if there wasn't that much money going into college football the way it is, especially with the playoff format, then you won't even hear a peep from these guys that are talking about Notre Dame joining the conference. Nobody would care, but money is involved. The money influences these decisions. And it's very sick, too, because now you're cheating the players who busted their ass off season and in season. You're not giving them a chance to compete. It's not about the best team. It's about what money can do for the conference. It's a stupid argument. It really is.
I guess the lesson learned is you better go 11-1 or 12-0 in a 12-team format if you're Notre Dame, or you're at severe risk unless a bunch of dominoes fall your way. Like, it's one lesson I learned. You better go 11-1. Do you remember in the middle part of the year, I'd come on here and say, I dare the committee to keep out a 10-2 Notre Dame team on a 10-game winning streak with a Heisman candidate. I dare you to leave that team out. Well, I dared them, and they took me up on it. You got to go 11-1.
And another factor is that you guys only lost to the teams that played in the playoffs. That was your only loss. So how come that didn't play a factor? Strength of schedule just slipped in the minds of these people so they can have money going to other conferences instead of Notre Dame. And again, it's about the money. Screw Notre Dame. Yeah, there's always arguments to saying that Notre Dame lost 2 games, but yet those 2 games they lost to were by teams that played in the playoffs, a very close game. So you got to ask yourself, what's the actual gap between Notre Dame and those 2 teams they lose? And there really isn't a gap. One was that away at Miami, and the other one was hosted by A&M. And honestly, the only game you guys had any business losing was the A&M one. That was it, 488 passing yards. And it was even by not even, it was just so close from each other. And it's just, again, it's anti-Notre Dame hate rhetoric. It's all it is. It's all rhetoric. Notre Dame hate rhetoric. That's all it is.
Mingos, do you believe there will be significant changes to the format after everything that happened, or maybe it would happen regardless? Do you think this thing's moving to 16 even as fast as next year? Or like, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think's going to happen?
If I'm a Notre Dame fan, this is what I'm going to be paying attention to. So so it's already been outspoken that the conference commissioners and athletic directors of all these schools are going to find any way to do a freeze on Notre Dame. What that means is that the ACC is going to come in and intentionally schedule guys low tier ACC teams to decrease the argumentation for Notre Dame having a quality resume of strength of schedule. They're going to do that to you guys here pretty soon, or if not next year. So when you're trying to, let's say you go undefeated, they're going to say you guys didn't play anybody. You even lose one game. I wouldn't trust a playoff committee anymore from here on out because they jerked you around this year. And what's going to prevent them from happening again next year? Last year's format worked perfectly. You had 4 best teams, conference champs 4, and Notre Dame best spot 5. That was actually a fair, but because of the moving the goalpost on Notre Dame at the last second, that's what drives me nuts about people who are, that's why I say it's anti-Notre Dame hate rhetoric, because they don't even want to look at that. They don't even want to acknowledge that they moved the goalpost at the last second. I mean, and people are just giving a pass on it just to dunk on Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame lose and they get trolled, in the playoffs. That's a different story, but it's the fact that Notre Dame from week 1 to week 14, totally different. And yet they're saying that about Alabama with their 3 losses, but yet they're not willing to grant you guys the same thing, even though you played 4 ranked teams, 2 of them on the road and 2 of them at home. It does. This whole argument does not make sense once you actually break it down and look at behind when you look behind the curtains. It just drives me nuts. People are just being stupid right now. That's my hot take on it. There's people being dumb.
It's tough, man. So you got to go. I think I learned the lesson in a 12-teamer. You better go 11-1 or you're in trouble. Mangoes, I really appreciate you jumping in, always being around the Patreon. Good luck to your team as the playoffs continue, and thanks for being a part of this.
No problem, man. You take care. God bless. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, buddy. Merry Christmas. How much time you got, buddy? John, what are your thoughts on eggnog? I'll give you this. This is going to shock many of you. I actually don't mind eggnog, and that is a shock the way my food tastes are. But it's like 1 glass a year only because it's Christmas, 1 a year. Like, it's not something I crave or seek out. It's 1 glass a year, one time a year, that's it. So I could do it. I know that surprises people. Too thick. Yeah, I'm a texture guy. I'm going to surprise you guys. But it's 1 a year. That's it. 1 a year. It's like an Almond Joy. I'm never going to go buy an Almond Joy, but I'll steal one out of my kid's Halloween thing and have 2 a year, right? So that's kind of where I'm at. Okay, I got a couple more minutes. Todd, we're going to go to you. JT, you'll finish us out. I got to get out of here at 11. So each of you have a few minutes. Todd, you had a good runway the other day, so we're going to have to summarize your notes.
Okay, real quick. You're going to laugh at this. We were listening to you. You know how you do your intro and you do it real quick and name all the stuff?
Yeah.
My wife says to me and agreed, he needs to be one of those guys that does that thing after commercial. We're hearing it on the radio on the way back home. I said, yeah, they could record them at regular speed and not have to speed it up like they do everybody else.
Todd, the funny part is when you hear those, it's always hilarious. They're like, be aware that if you take this drug, there's a possibility your legs may fall off and you may go blind while driving on the toll road. Like, they go through all the worst stuff real quick.
Okay, a couple of things. No comment on this, but just think about this. Carr was a legacy at Michigan, right? He'd have been a legacy. Think about what happened. Think about his family. What did they know, if anything, for him to be influenced to go to Notre Dame? They had to know something about what was going on because he said he had the affair for 3 years. Think about that for everybody that's on the site. The other thing is, Don't worry about Freeman. He wouldn't be putting his heart into recruiting kids if he wasn't staying. Just look at it like that. He's not going to go out and do that and promise parents things. No way. Put this to rest. Put it to bed. Don't even want to hear it again. The other thing is,
it's a good point. You landed a really good guy. You get the quarterback that did commit to reclassifying. Like, there's a lot of, I think you may have radio silence if he had 1 foot out the door, because why are you going to invest in all that? It's a very good point on the relaxed Notre Dame end. Good point.
Oh, and I caught the thing, Tom. You know, I wouldn't talk to that media. Good censorship, man. I laughed so hard.
It was good. He caught himself. It was good.
Yeah, it was good. The other thing is, I hate to tell the people that think they're going to make a decision January 8th. It's already been made. To back up a little bit, too, I was a college football junkie, man, and I couldn't give it up. I watched the last 3 minutes of the third quarter of Oklahoma and the fourth quarter of Alabama. And my question coming out of that game is, how in the hell did Oklahoma make the playoffs? That's my question. Are you kidding me?
See, Todd, I had that argument. I had that argument for a while of like, we're all talking about like Miami's its own thing with the head-to-head, but then we're talking about Alabama and Notre Dame. I wanted to talk about Oklahoma and Notre Dame.
Yeah, how did they make it? And the games, I watched the games.
Todd, 10-2 in the SEC. Is that the answer? You're always going to be rewarded for 10-2 in the SEC. Is it that simple? Can we just, is that it?
That's a big part of it. If you go to ESPN and you click NCAA football and you click standings and you go to each, each conference, we'll get it out, each conference, and look up each team, it shows you in a little faded thing where that team was ranked when they played them. They beat teams that were ranked when they played them, but half the teams they played aren't even in the top 25 at the end of the year. So the committee, my biggest complaint is the committee. And so here's some of the things.
Philosophically, Todd, I've always struggled with the idea of when you talk about ranked wins, is it when you play the team or is it when it's all over? Do you get what I'm saying?
That's a tough question to answer.
Yeah, but I always I struggle with
when
that.
You played them. Right. Yeah. They're looking at when you played them, but then you got to look at the overall body of work. Yeah. Notre Dame's body of work was better than Miami's, but we know what happened. And so I'm just going to tell you this. I listened. So I'm listening to the games, and of all the people, Jesse Palmer says, Notre Dame, you and I watched them, Joe, twice this year. He's talking to Tessitore. He goes, that team should have been in the playoffs. He says, because they're doing the Tulane, Mississippi game. They said, and he was basically like, this team should not be sitting home. He says, I do not agree with 2 group of 5 teams in the playoffs. 1, yes, 2, no. Now, I this is why I stay up late at night before I go to bed. My wife goes into the bedroom, does her thing, spend some time with the Lord. And I'm out watching, and I'm watching a lot of these things. And I got to tell you, you got to go watch Joel Klatt. I think it is Klatt. He has a thing about the first week group of games. Don't pay attention to that. Go to because it's got segments where there's little white bands. Go to the last band for I think it's 8 minutes long. He says you had Notre Dame, Vandy, Texas, and BYU sitting home. Then he went into the big thing about there's no way the group of 5 is going to compete next year, group of 6, because when your group of 5 has good players, the Power 4 conference goes down and poaches them. So they can't get any better. The gap was like this. Now the gap's getting like this.
It's a very good point. It's a very good point. Any little Cinderella team you have with a bunch of guys that are developing are going to get poached for big money and be up there anyways. Yeah.
And he used the term Cinderella. These guys, there's going to be no more Cinderella stories. What they need to do is what they did with the FCS. He said they need to start their own tournament for them. Think of what ESPN could get. They could build it up exactly the way it is, like for the Power 4, for the top 12 teams, build it up for that. They could, NCAA with all the money they have, could basically supplement and do things for them and make it exactly a 12-team playoffs for the group of 5 or a group of 6.
That Cinderella thing. People are like, oh, look at the Cinderella in the NCAA tournament or whatever. Football is not basketball.
Exactly.
You can have a Cinderella in basketball because one dork like me can make 83 pointers and win that game. Football's built different. It's the line play dictates how half of this goes. It's not comparable. I hate when people are like, you got to give the Cinderella. It's totally different in football.
He said that too. He says the committee, like that, it's like the good old boys club, and they feel bad for the team, and they want a group of 5, and they want to have them in. No, you can't do it. The gap's too wide. Now, starting next year, and these rules were made in 2024. He went over this. This is the playoff format for next year. Every winner of their conference championship game will be put in. If this was this year put in, Duke would have went. So they're going to have this next year, is what he said. So
okay,
you're going to get the ace.
Todd, if they did that, say this year, do you think Notre Dame gets in over Miami because they wouldn't feel the obligation to have an ACC team in and force it? Or do you think they would still bounce Notre Dame for Miami in the end? It's an interesting question.
I think 1,000%, because I think my perception is they were waiting for Virginia to win the game, put them in as ACC, put Notre Dame in as an at-large. That's my opinion. And I think when it flipped and Duke won, my kid even says now, Duke should have been in. They won everything. What's the difference? They won the champ. It's like going like this. Well, the Dodgers won the World Series, and we know that. But since the Padres played them 13 games this year and beat them every game, the Padres are really the champions because they never lost to the Dodgers during the regular season.
Yeah.
I mean, that's as much sense as it makes to me. So anyways, it's going to be the Power Four, and it's going to be one group of 5, and Notre Dame, if they finish 12th or better. You still got the thing of how are they going to maneuver that? How are they going to determine? I agree with the fact no FCS teams. You play an FCS team, that shouldn't even count as a win because that's a tune-up game. Come on, that's like the varsity playing the middle schoolers. Stop. And then if they were to lose to an FCS team, a la App State and Michigan, right? Well, then that should count against them in a big way. So you got to do something with that. But that's basically, it's already been set in stone what they're going to do for next year. That's what they're going to do. And it's going to stay basically the 12 teams. Now, and that was decided in 2024. Now, here's my scenario on some things if you were to increase the playoffs. If you go to 14 teams in the playoffs, only number 1 and number 2 would get byes. That gives you 2 teams. The next 12 teams, however you want to fit them based on how you have them ranked, they play that 6 games. 6 and the 2 byes gives you 8. Then those 8 play, right? So you got 4 games in your 2. You're playing the same amount of weeks that you have now, but only the top 2 get byes. If you go to a 16-team playoff, there are no byes, and you still end up with 4 weeks the way you have now. Now, I'm not going to go 16 teams, no byes, conference champions all get in, and no group of 5s. They got to have their own playoff format. Now, Klatt said I could see if a group of 5 finished 15th, they would be in contention. But figure this, JMU, I think if JMU played Mississippi, I think JMU wins that game. If it had been flipped the other way around, and Tulane, I don't know how they had Tulane over James Madison, although James Madison, the only Power 4 team they played was Louisville, and they lost by 14 points. So, I mean, these teams don't belong in there, face it. I mean, the Cinderella story is gone. And so it's not like Boise State back in the day when they had the players, but that's when they went into they poach all the good ones now. And so if you look at it in those 2 formats, a 14 game and a 16 game, you're looking at either 2 byes or you're looking at no byes and just go right into the playoffs and seed them based on their numbers. The other thing is we can pray for Freeman to have the ability to judge talent the way Era did. What are the odds of taking a guy that's a 3rd-string defensive back, picking him to be your quarterback, and he wins the Heisman? I mean, that I don't think you'd see that in this day and age because of the way the kids come up to train, the things they do. But anyways, but we can still pray for him to have the wisdom like that. And so anyways, here's the thing, and I'll end with. On a mental aspect, how I think it was Tom talked about this. The kids go in, they get all the stuff from the school to help and aid them in taking the classes and all that stuff. But here's a scripture that really will sink with you. Here's the attitude the kids have to have. It says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. You've got to instill the winning attitude in the kids. They can't be beat, that they can go out and get the job done. And that's it. And Merry Christmas, and you can comment.
Yeah, I like it, Todd. I like how you think everything through. Hey, man, thanks a lot for being here. I've appreciated all of your contributions. Have a good holiday week. I'll be live Wednesday morning. If you have time on Christmas Eve, join us.
Okay.
See ya. Right when he talked, I cut him off. Sorry, Todd. JT, you're going to finish us out here. So I see Notre Dame there's people writing in the chat, Notre Dame's going to BYU next year. Now wait a second. Is that a response to all of the Notre Dame's afraid to play BYU? You want to duck us? So then Bavacqua goes out and schedules that. Here's the other thing though. A few people are saying USC's off the schedule. I was under the understanding Notre Dame and USC had a part-time bridge agreement for 2 more years, another game in LA and another game at Notre Dame, to give them a window to negotiate a longer scale deal. Is that off? Somebody tell me, is that off? Is USC off the schedule? So now Frawley's saying USC is not off the schedule, and a bunch of people are saying they are. So which is it? BYU is the replacement for USC? I don't know. The deal is off. So now we have some mixed opinions here, and I'd like to know what the truth is. That's interesting. JT, Merry Christmas, buddy.
Merry Christmas, John. And the only playoff game I was interested in this entire weekend was what they're calling Super Brawl of a while between Montana and Montana State, and Montana State won. I wasn't interested in any of the FBS playoff stuff because we weren't involved in it. Anyway, I should probably clarify what Todd was saying about the conference champions. The Power 4 conference champions would be getting the auto bids, and the 1G5 rep would get the 5th auto bid, etc. I should probably clarify that because for reasons. Anyway, we have to remember that the NFL has something called the Rooney Rule.
Yeah.
And because Marcus Freeman is, African American, the NFL, there's a rule in the NFL that says that I think at least 1 or 2, it could have been raised, minorities have to be interviewed for a head coach position each time that a team does it. So
I understand that, but I don't want it to be my coach.
I know. I know that.
I totally get it, but I just don't want it to be my guy,
Yes, I understand that. And the only situation I want Freeman leaving for the NFL for is the Baltimore Ravens, and hopefully Harbaugh gets fired this week because of the incompetence shown last night. But enough about the Ravens. Let's see. We've got to be in a situation, if BYU is the USC replacement, bring it on. We'll play them and we'll beat them. But here's the thing. USC wanting to restrict everything to the first couple weeks of the season because that's what the Big Ten does. Well, let me tell you a story. When Wazoo and Oregon entered the Big Ten, they gave them the same bye week in their first season in that conference so that they could, if they could get it scheduled, play Wazoo and Oregon State to close out the year as is tradition. They weren't able to do that, so the Apple Cup got played at Thanksgiving. So the Big Ten is willing to work with the West Coast schools to keep their traditions alive So that's debunked right there. The next thing is the other thing I wanted to mention. Micah Shrewsbury, your seat just got flaming hot. Like as the other caller said, Purdue Fort Wayne should never be coming in here wearing our old jerseys and beating us.
Yeah, I got a lot. I didn't watch the game, but I got a lot of angry text messages about that. And it's just like, dude, I have enough problems with Notre Dame football right now. I do not have it in me to worry about the basketball program too. JT, I can only worry about one nightmare at a time.
Well, let me ease your mind on one of them. Aeneas Williams is going to come into that running back spot, and he's going to treat those defenses like how Derrick Henry treats them in the NFL. He's going to run roughshod all over them. CJ Carr is going to throw for 300 passing yards all season, each game. We're going to win like 60-0 against everybody. We're going to head out there. We're going to 12-0. We're going to win the national championship.
Hey, JT, you got a little Rockney in you with that speech there. You got a little Rockney in you, brother.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. Go Irish. Thank you.
Oh, man. JT, I love you, buddy. Merry Christmas. Take care.
Thank you. Goodbye.
We'll see you, man. What a good guy, man. I love it. He waited a long time to get in on that. Henry Johnson. Notre Dame has home losses to Northern and Marshall. It's not ND hate. It's just that Notre Dame's not that good. Here's the problem I have, though. Yeah, Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois. Then they won all of their games by double digits after that, and then won 3 games in the playoff and went all the way to the title game. It's funny how when you focus on the Northern Illinois, it's as if nothing after it ever happened. That's the issue I have with this. You could rip Notre Dame for losing to Northern, but you're not allowed to ignore everything that happened after it. There's this selective nature of the anti-Notre Dame thing that is always interesting to me. No doubt about it, you lost to Northern Illinois. And if Notre Dame lost 3 or 4 other games and played like crap, they're no good. But you can't rip them for Northern and then ignore everything that happened after it. James, I get it. You don't like Notre Dame. You want to see me mad. I understand. Just pile it on, buddy. It's been a long few weeks. Pile it on. Pile it on. But it's just very selective. It's like, well, you lost to Northern, therefore you're no good. And you ignore the huge winning streak through the playoff after it. Come on, man. Come on, bro. So, when I get off of here, I'm going to have to do some research about this BYU and USC thing here because I think that's very, very interesting. So, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for all the engagement. Notre Dame fans are in a weird place. Glad we're all doing this together, working through it. I'll see you guys on Monday Night Raw tonight with Goolsby on the Patreon. And then I'll probably have a video for you in the morning about this scheduling news. So, you guys, thanks for being here. It's been a long, stressful run for Notre Dame people. Hope you're able to relax and enjoy the holiday season with your people. Not focus on the football, just relax and be with your family and friends. I'll see you guys tonight on Raw. I'll have a video for you Tuesday, and we're going live Christmas Eve morning. Have a good one.